Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. Super excited to see you, have you here. Be back home. It was a long and awesome 2 weeks. I've never, ever taken more than 5 days off of work in the last 25 years, actually 27 years. So super excited to be back home, super excited to be back with you guys. Had a blast with my buddies there, had a blast with Millennial Mike and with Dion. We got to do a bunch of fun stuff together. So yeah, so it was a really good time, really super good time. I just can't say enough about it. I had a blast. My kids had a blast. And every single day, literally without fail, every single day, we were doing market research. We were driving neighborhoods. We were looking for investment properties. We were trying to understand the demographic. One of those things that I tell you, it's just, I love getting on the ground and just driving neighborhoods and looking and better understanding. And okay, I like this area. I don't like this area. It was a lot of fun. So major thanks to Brian Lebo. I've known Brian for coming up on 2 years, over 2 years. I've known Brian. And we'd always talked about cars and talked about some real estate stuff. And but going out there and being able to spend time with him, Brian, you're the man. I greatly appreciate you taking me around. Really taught me a lot about Vegas and the Vegas market. If you are looking in the Vegas market, Brian Lebo's the dude. I wouldn't go anywhere else. He knows everything about everything. And I know a ton about my market, as much about my market as he knows about his. And that's what made it so enjoyable, is we're sitting there and we're having conversations almost every day about the piece, parts of the market and what I'm looking for and what I'm trying to drive at. And so we looked at everything. And so I just, man, Vegas is very different for us, because everything here, we're in smaller cities. And so everything kind of closes down, at 9 or 10 o'clock. And so there, having the access to pretty much anything 24/7 is just earth changer for us. It's awesome. But loved my time in Vegas. I'm super excited to be buying something there and start investing there. Like I said, 2 solid weeks of research. I'm going to launch a series called Buying Vegas. And you're going to see kind of all of our updates, all the stuff that we went and did. We've got tons and tons of pictures. What I tried to do was really just be in the moment with my kids and my wife. Just be in that moment and spending time with, Dion and Mike, but we were really just trying to be in the moment. And so it was kind of funny because we spent a lot of family time together, but we also spent a lot of time with the kids, driving around and looking at neighborhoods and trying to better understand places. And, oh, this is cool. This is what this has. And this is kind of what this has. And this is kind of cool. And this is kind of neat. And, it was just a lot. It was a lot of fun. So, stay tuned for that amazing series, not Siri. Robert Farinelli, thank you very much for the super chat. Welcome back to Siberia. It was really funny when we landed late on Friday night. The weather was warmer here than it was in Vegas when we left. It was actually really funny. I was laughing. I was talking about that with Ashley, Mrs. Lumberjack. So it was cool. But what an amazing trip. Like I said, Buying Vegas, that's a series I'm going to come out with. We just did a ton of market research. We're going to share all that stuff with you guys, just to kind of give you the kind of the mind's eye and kind of the, my investing experience for 20 plus years here at home in New Hampshire. And then what it was like being out in Vegas for 2 weeks and just kind of all the differences that we saw in all of the different areas. What an amazing place. I absolutely love it there. We were laughing around, laughing and joking about how we were basically, I was in these t-shirts nonstop, and we have your t-shirts going out, guys, too. We've figured out the snafu and it's all been taken care of. So I'm excited to see you guys take selfies in your shirts. And so, but just being able to walk outside in a t-shirt kind of every day was awesome. And then we got like weird looks for some people because it was still like only in the high 40s and low 50s. And they're like, why are you wearing a t-shirt? I was like, oh, Northeast. I don't have a problem with t-shirts in the 40-degree weather. People are bundled up in like jackets and stuff. Yeah, T, I just saw your comment. Silverado Ranch is nice. It is. Henderson as well. Yeah, Henderson was really nice. And so we looked at Henderson, we looked at Red Rock, we looked at Summerlin, all parts, Northern Summerlin and Southern Summerlin and Western Summerlin. Our search was really aggressive in Summerlin. And you know, kind of what you'll see in some of the videos is as I kind of make that maturation process. On paper, Summerlin and Henderson and Red Rock are kind of no-brainers. Like they're beautiful areas on that part of the city. Or that part of the city, that part of Las Vegas. Anthem is very nice, but we looked kind of all over. The biggest challenge for us was kind of our criteria. But again, I'll share that with you guys in the Buying Vegas videos. There was a lot there too. But yeah, man, Summerlin, amazing. Henderson, amazing. Red Rock, amazing. It's a great place. And the fact that so many people there take pride in their job, in the service industry, it made it so enjoyable for my entire family. We loved going there. I mean, we didn't have a bad meal. We didn't have a bad experience. The worst experience we had was with the rental car place, by far. But yeah, it was such a great trip. Really just such a blast. Love the people there. So many people, as you guys know, are transplants. And so it was really just a great experience. My kids just had an absolute blast. And yeah, I appreciated you guys. I know I felt bad because I like to put out at least a couple things of content a week. And I think the only thing I put out was, just a couple short lives. And so we're going to be back on the content train again in the next couple of weeks, with the Buying Vegas series. And then, just some other, so we finished up the courses, almost finalized, being edited. We're super excited that launches on the 31st. So really pumped about the course. The editors going through it are just like, there is so much information here. It's ridiculous. That I was so happy to hear that. I was so happy to hear that. You know, and we're going to only add to it. So that's kind of like the first wave of data. And then for the people that are in the course, you're going to be able to ask. So if you're in the boot camp, we get to do live sessions together. We limit the boot camp to only 20 people. I think that boot camp is almost full, but we limit it to only 20 people. That way we can spend an hour together every week, all talking about that course subject for the week, as well as answering questions around that course subject. Obviously, if we deviate a little bit, that's fine, but it's basically a private 1 hour with those 20 people and me live, where we just talk through that week's module, the coming week's module. I really believe that people are going to come out of this course massively better than what they are today. I think there's going to be a number of people that go from average to good and good to great and great to amazing and amazing to elite. I think that there's going to be that maturation process for people. One of the guys said, I had to watch this video 4 times. And I said, ooh, what was it bad? And I said, he goes, there was so much information. Every single time I watched it, I heard something new. I heard something better. I heard something that's going to make me better. So I'm so pumped for this course for you guys. And again, we're going to add to it over the course of the year based on your questions. One person said, hey, why 11 modules and not 12? And I said, because I want you guys to tell me what you want for our 12th. That's how we're going to do it. I want you guys to tell me what number 12 is. And so what we're going to do is we're going to do some polls within the course. And you guys can tell me what you want number 12 to be. Because I gave you kind of the top 11 that were the biggest changers in my business and how I went from average to good, good to great, great to amazing, and amazing to elite. That is what I want you guys to be able to tell me is, hey, we'd love to see a piece on this. We'd love to see a piece on that. Want people to get in, immerse themselves, get trained up, get skilled up. And then I want to start hearing feedback from you guys on, hey, we'd love to see this. We'd love to see that. That's really kind of the purpose of the course. It's for you. I'm giving you the top 11 things, and there's then sub videos basically for those. So I think when it's all said and done, it's going to be like 27 to 30 videos. It's going to be a lot. It's going to be between 8 and 10 hours when it's all finished. The reason I can't give you the exact time is because it's editing. But it's going to be between 8 and 10 hours. And then, like I said, we're going to dive back in. So don't think that everything is answered in those courses, even though if you just did that, that's going to get you to a massive business. It's just the issue of hearing from you guys what's more important to you. There are some geographical differences. One of the things that I was cognizant of was doing a roof here versus doing a roof in Vegas. Completely different story. The good news is that we're going to bring experts into the course, construction guys. We're going to bring those guys in, have them talk to you. That way we hit the different demographics around the country. Yeah, I'm just so super excited to start that with you guys, have you guys start taking the course, seeing the questions come in, and then doing the boot camp with folks. I'm really, really, really excited for the boot camp. It's going to be so amazing. The boot camps, the course I think is fantastic. But again, we're going to continue to add to it over the course of the year. And we're going to be looking to you guys for feedback, because there are differences in markets. There are differences in regions. And I've got an amazing Rolodex, that we can bring other people in. I mean, you guys have seen some of the stuff we've done on the channel, like talking about how dirt's making people millionaires. So I'm super excited for it, and I'm super excited to be back. But enough of me rambling. That was like 10 minutes of just talking about the trip. But every day we did homework. Every day we did homework. Every day we were on the road. Every single day we drove new neighborhoods. Every day. And people are really proud to live in Summerlin. So proud that ads that go up say Summerlin adjacent. So they're not in Summerlin, they're just close to it. But I'll teach you a lesson about that in the Buying Vegas series, because it's absolute brilliance. But again, I can't thank Brian Lebo enough. It was amazing. Please check out his channel. Please leave a comment on his channel. Leave a comment on his channel saying how much the lumberjack community appreciates him, because he is a phenomenal agent. So let's jump in. Tom Kine, hello guys. Is he stuck on a table? Yeah. So those guys don't gamble. I did, but I only did a little bit, and I had to. I did it when I sent Mrs. Lumberjack to the spa. So I sent Mrs. Lumberjack to the spa, and I said, "Here's your spa day." And I went and I just played for a few hours. It was good. I ended up, but that's kind of usually the case for me. That's why I'm not getting offered a bunch of free rooms. Chester Williams, what's going on, everybody? Kenny A, good morning. All nighter, hello sir, bonjour. Nick Ragland Johnson, hello Nick. Mandy W, good morning. It's going great, as you heard in the story. T, hello everyone. Chester Williams, that was a cool trip. It was an amazing trip. I loved my time with Dion and Mike. That was by far, aside from seeing my family happy and getting quiet time with my family, quiet time meaning that kind of not a lot of other distractions. It was just a blast. And one of the cool things is I enacted one of the things that I'm teaching in the course, which is basically called property management insourcing. I actually did the property management insourcing. And here's what I can tell you. When I would wake up in the morning, I'd have a few text messages, and then I would deploy what I teach in the outsourcing, in the insourcing piece. And it worked flawlessly. It did. It just worked flawlessly. I'm not saying it'll work flawlessly forever, but for 2 weeks, I was really actually able to enjoy my vacation, which was phenomenal. It's been the first time ever. Good morning, Ninja Vanish. Tom Kine, awesomeness. I know, I totally agree. T, just moved from Vegas. I lived out there for a year and I miss it. Yeah, I loved it, T. I love Vegas. I've been going there for 25 years, and just I love it. Absolutely love it. Try going there when you're 20. It kind of sucked. It was tough. Couldn't do a whole lot. But yeah, it was a blast. Laura Semeniego, good morning. Good morning. On to anticipating the next vacation. Glad you're back, my friend. Thanks, Hyder. I appreciate it. Yeah, it was such a great time. I was super blessed to be able to spend all that time with my family. It was just really a good time. Corby, good morning. Good morning, everybody. T, Silveranch and Henderson. Yep. Robert Fernelli, glad I enjoyed the vacation. Yes, it was awesome. Kip SOS Investment, garage sale, shopping with family on Saturday. So that is a great question. We did actually do like a little bit of looking around, but the first Saturday, Dion and Mike were there. So I wanted to spend all the time I could with those guys. Because we've been working with them for so long, and just great to spend time with them, spend time with Mike and his family, and spend time with Dion and his guest. It was great. And so the first Saturday we didn't do it. And by the second Saturday we were gone. So no shopping like that, but we did start to mark out places, because when we moved there and start investing there, we wanted to we just really spent the last 2 weeks really kind of getting a lay of the land and seeing where we wanted to invest, doing a bunch of that market research, seeing it on paper, but then actually going and putting boots on the ground and seeing like where around stuff was. Admittedly, my Airbnb was great, but what was really funny was there were a lot of things about the Airbnb that I would change. And interestingly enough, as you guys know, if you've done Airbnb, you don't get the address until later. So what was really interesting about getting the address later is I'm a really light sleeper. TMI, yes. This is a complete overshare. I'm having a little bit of a Dion moment. So what was really interesting was it was close to a 3 lanes on each side road. And so I was up early every morning. I was up early every morning because I don't do road noise. That's why I live on a couple of acres and I abut a bunch of conservation land. I like nice and quiet. So yeah, and I have kids, so that was fun. But yeah, no hopping. Redion, good morning, fellas. Welcome back, Matt. Thanks, Redion. I appreciate that. Love the food in Vegas. Yeah, that's right, Hyder. We did amazing lunch. Got to eat an amazing lunch with Dion. Thanks again for lunch. We got to do the Bellagio family, all of us, or the Bellagio buffet, kind of all of us, my family, Dion's and Mike's. So we just had so much fun. It was a blast. Let's see. Ready on Matt. I'm looking at the course modules on module 6, the products to use. Does that include all products like appliances and fixtures? If not, what does it include? So it does. It includes all the appliances. So one of the things to keep in mind is we have about 600 appliances. That's one of the things to keep in mind. So having 600 appliances, we can actually tell you over the last 5 years what our record has been in working with different units. We keep all of our records on, what we have deployed to the field, what units we've been using, what the fix rate is, what are the things that continuously break on us? What are the things that when they do break, they're super expensive? Some of the things that when they break, they're not too expensive. Interestingly enough, we had one malfunction of an appliance while we were gone. And it was predictable. And so I cover appliances, I cover fixtures, I cover shingles, roofing products, windows, everything we cover when it comes to products to use and stuff to stay away from. Understanding how windows are rated, understanding, it's just, there's everything is in there. And then even better is, we cover it kind of at a 30,000 foot view. And then if you're in the course and you have a question, you ask the question. And then I'll answer the question for you too. And if you're in the boot camp, then we'll talk about the product side live. I really do like the boot camp. Because it's going to make the course come even more alive to you. The course is amazing. It's 8 or 10 hours, or it's 22 years of information that I condensed down to 8 to 10 hours. However, the boot camp is on top of that. It's a whole nother 12 hours. And you're doing it with other real estate investors, and you're doing it with me. So me specifically, I love the course, but the boot camp is going to help even more. So yeah, we cover everything. Jeff M, good to see you, my friend. Let's go, baby. I know, right? I'm back in the saddle again. Kip SOS. Matt, rocking the Vegas Knights hat. Let's go. Yeah, I know, right? So what's really funny is I bought this hat the year that they were announced. It actually is an inaugural season hat right here. So I actually bought this when they were announced because my Boston Bruins, they're my East Coast team. They've been the team I watched growing up, brokenhearted until 2011 when we finally won the cup. Then close 2 more times, but GMs at that time just didn't do what was needed to give us the best team, or give us the best, not the most talented, but the best team. And now the Knights have Bruce Cassidy, who's one of my favorite Boston Bruins coaches ever. And so, yeah, big Knights fan. I do watch them a decent amount. I'm up late working. So usually my Bruins are over and the Knights are playing. And so, yeah, they're going to kill the Blues, Jeff. Robert Farinelli, looking forward to PhD level lecture on knob and tube wiring. I'm actually, guys, what's really cool about this is that I'm going to try and do it. There will be in the boot camp, there will be some times where we're going to do lives for the boot camp, me in a property under construction. I will show you active knob and tube that we're actually going to be ripping out. I literally have not done the project for one reason and one reason only. I want to do it live in the course. I'm that whacked. So I'm super excited to show that to you guys. But we're going to literally go right through that house. I'm going to show you exactly a house. I'm delaying it because we're probably going to start with the course out of order a little bit, just so I can show you that specific project on the construction side. I think construction's like module number 8 or 9. I don't have my list on me, but it's project number 8 or 9, but we'll actually talk about that. And I'll actually bring you guys right through the property. It's just absolutely, it's awesome. Let's see, Jeff, Vegas boo, let's go Blues. Yeah, the Blues, I hate the Blues. The Bruins lost the cup to them because Binnington was unstoppable. So he's a little bit of a mental case right now. Angelica P, so excited. Terry Flood, nice hat. Thanks, Terry, I appreciate it. Yeah, we're only halfway through the season and the NHL season's been amazing. Robert Finelli, 12 growth versus seasoned. Okay. Point out the difference. You should focus when you have 1 or 2 versus 20. It might be better to have A when you only have 2 versus B when you are on number 12. Growth versus season. Okay. Course number. Yeah, I got you. Okay, cool. Yeah. So, believe it or not, in the beginning, banks make you season longer, even though that's when you're ready for growth. And so as I get further down the path, they care less about seasoning and they're ready to do the next deal. It's the weirdest thing. It's just like, banks don't lend to people that need money. They lend to people that don't need money. It's so true. I can honestly tell you, I get calls, at least a couple of times a month saying, hey, are you looking at any projects? I'm still getting those calls. And the bank wants to give me money. I will take some money. I have some, I'd like some more. And that's where you come in. Let's see. Oh, super chat moved. Oh, chat moved. There we go. Okay. Finding abandoned property. Is it a good idea to look in your county GIS map systems for owners to make offers? Yeah, I think so. So for me, there's nothing, short of doing something illegal, I will do anything to find properties. Short of doing something illegal, I will. I love the aspect of being able to have a conversation with somebody, not be rude, but just basically be, and that's a New Hampshire thing. I just turned rude into a 2-syllable word. Just to have the conversation. Hi, this is my name and this is what I do. You guys, one of the things that we're going to teach in the course is elevator pitches. You guys have to get elevator pitches. If you don't know what an elevator pitch is, it's being able to communicate effectively in 15 seconds who you are, what you do, and why they should want to take the next step with you. You have to get those things down cold. As politely as I can say this, most people get nowhere because they can't effectively communicate what exactly it is that they need. This is a strength, elite strength of mine, because I've been doing it for 25 years, actually 30 years, since I started my sales career. Yes, I started my sales career when I was about 15 years old. And you have to understand how to effectively communicate, and that will drastically improve your results. I can tell you that I've worked with friends where English was their third language, not even their second. It was their third language. And what most people need to better understand is effectively communicating. And I think that very often when I was working with my friends that English is their third language, they were shy. They were embarrassed that they didn't have a full grasp of the language. That's not what I mean. What I mean is you can very easily create an elevator pitch that you're very comfortable with, where you can understand when the response back from somebody is this, then this is the direction that you should go. When the response back from them is that, then that's the direction you should go. One of the things, in the interest of full disclosure, I was a sales trainer for a number of years. Didn't do it as a full-time job. I actually did it on the side. But I would train my teams up in the way that I wanted them to sell. And that's what made them so successful, because they were amazing and articulate at what they were trying to communicate, and language and English didn't have to be their first language. It really is a matter of coming up with these different short elevator pitches. The reason they call it an elevator pitch is because typically your ride on an elevator is about 15 seconds. So imagine if you're in that elevator with somebody that you want to have that conversation with, you know that you don't have no idea if they're your person or not, if they're the person you're trying to find or whatnot. So it's a matter of, oh, hi, my name is blah, 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 and this is what I do. And we're going to teach you guys as part of that course how to have that elevator pitch, because that is critical when it comes to proper communication. Claude Mitchell. Good morning, Claude. Good to have you here. Appreciate you coming. InvestaWolf. Good morning. Sam Farho. Hey, Sam, how are you? All-nighter hider. I went to Vegas when I was 20, went with a bunch of older dudes and didn't get carded much at all. So much fun. Yeah, I sadly wasn't in that position. C Reyes 712. Good morning. I'm glad you love Vegas. I do too. It's really, truly, it's my second home. Dion, talk financial freedom. Overshares are awesome. Dion, I'm not going to overshare overshares, but it's critical. The Yoder, good morning. Happy to see you. Had a great vacation. It's great to be a landlord. Dion moment. Ha ha ha. Exactly. Yeah, it's great to be a landlord. Honestly, how I managed my business of 137 properties. Most of you would say, oh, well, you're on the phone all the time. I wasn't. I spent the morning, usually 20 minutes or so. Some days it was a little bit more. Some days it was a little bit less, but less than 20 minutes. And I managed my entire portfolio. And that was with 3 major construction projects happening. Just saying, I know a little bit about a little bit. But it was good. C Reyes in the house. The house is much prettier now. Oh, that's so nice, Hyder. It's funny, I can't really tell. I can't tell because the emoticons are so small. Tom Kind, more regulations on road noise. Yeah, Tom, you're a trucker, right? Or a logistics engineer. It was interesting. I wish I'd known what the address was, because we had one of those famous cement cinder block walls, stuccoed, and on the other side was a major road. And so for me, I didn't hear it as bad as they did upstairs. And then on top of that, one of the clasps on one of the windows upstairs was broken. I can tell somebody was trying to like crank down on that thing to make sure that it was all the way shut. It was a little bit of a challenge, but yeah, we made it through. All-nighter header. Charo was fun to watch. Yeah, he was one of the greatest defensemen of all time. Sherman Lambert Jr. Hi, Matt. How do I get your course? All-nighter. So all-nighter, he can post a link. He can post a link in here. There's a video on the you'll see on that link, there's a video for the syllabus. Watch that video. It's a 16-minute video on the syllabus, all the things we're going to cover. And then it will show you all the different, and then on that same page, after you watch the video, you'll see all the pricing structure for everything. And we'd love to have you, Sherman. There's no doubt in my mind that we're going to make landlords a whole lot better than they are today. And that's not to say that the people are doing a bad job, but let's face it, I got 22 years experience. I know a little bit about a little bit. Do I ever come across live knob and tube, or is it all antiquated? No, it's still, we still come across live. Yep, absolutely. This house that we're doing has live knob and tube. That's why I'm saving this project to share with you guys on the boot camp. That's why I'm sharing. That's why I'm saving it. I'm saving it for only that reason. We're ready to do that project in that house. We're holding off on the knob and tube portion because I want to show it to you. It's crazy stuff. I'm actually going to do it with my electrician. Guys, I'm telling you, this course is freaking awesome. Ninja Vanish. How come Mike was not in Vegas? I don't know. Ask him. He couldn't make it. He had some other obligations, but yeah, we would have loved to have had him. C Reyes. Oh my goodness, I got so far behind. Oh no, not that far behind. Ready on. Awesome to hear products included on the course are pretty comprehensive. I just started demo on a unit of my first duplex. Go, ready on. Go, go, go. Going to do as much as I can myself. Might make some videos too. Thanks. Awesome. This is what the course is for, my man. Everything is going to be in there. Construction, making sure that you don't demo everything. One of the biggest mistakes new real estate investors make is demoing everything. It's the biggest mistake that you can make. There is value that people destroy when they just gut to studs. There's value that gets destroyed. There's ways to do it where you don't destroy that value. And that's actually one of the modules, I think, on section 9. Section 9, I actually talked to you about how to not just gut everything, because that's a major mistake. Let's see. Angel R, excited for the course to go live. Me too. Matt, what course did you tell Mike to make? Millennial Mike to make? So I talked to Millennial Mike about a remote investing course. I think that he will crush it in that. I've learned from him on remote investing, because I've never bought anything that wasn't close by to me. I've managed things that I couldn't go and get access to because of the situation with my daughter for a year. So remote investing, I'm not the guy for that. Generally speaking, could I do it? Sure. Would I be the best at it? Not to start, because I have lessons to learn. But I have a pretty good process of how we do things now in management style. And the math on the buying side is a lot alike, but it's really learning that local market. And that's what Buying Vegas, that series that I'm going to do, is going to be all about. It's going to be about what I learned in the 2 weeks that I was there on boots on the ground. For me, my personality type is really just not being able to not have set foot, been there, shaken hands, looked people in the eyes, had conversation with them. I'm fine not being there all the time. I'm not fine not having met, engaged with, done some of those things where I really, really feel like I'm basically in the room. Yeah. All-nighter. I just learned about GIS. Excited to see what I've heard is better than Google Maps. Yeah. Google Earth is actually pretty good. Google Earth is actually pretty good. I liked Google Earth. GIS is great. Yeah. There's anything that you can utilize as a tool to get an edge or do better from an investment perspective. Anything you can do there is just awesome. It's awesome. Steven, hey, everyone. Hey, Steven, good to have you. Rob, most people can't effectively communicate what they want, much less what they need. Very true. And I think the key is that if you can get through at least communicating who you are, what you do, and what you're looking for, then that makes you memorable. If you can do it in a clear and succinct manner, makes you even more memorable. And then you couple that. A lot of what I do is systems. It's systematic. It's, yes, I have an elevator pitch, but I also have my follow-up. What's my follow-up? My digital business card. Hey, here's my digital business card. I would love to get your information. Here's mine. And then they can literally hit the swap button and they can give me their information. Makes it very easy for me to get their information, have it all be accurate, but me to be in their phone forever with my digital business card, what my buy box is, who I am, what I do. Here's all my social media. You'll never not be able to get a hold of me. That's why I really push in my landlord product review series. That's why I really push the game changer that is digital business cards. It makes you a differentiator. When I pulled out the digital business card, guess what? Most people were like, oh, that's so cool. I've never seen that before. Oh, that's so cool. I've never seen that before. Guess what? I'm now memorable. If the beard and the stature didn't burn an impression in your head, I don't know what will. The digital business card. I really kind of want to overshare this. I think I'm going to overshare this. Deanna, Mike, I apologize in advance. So when we went to go we were hanging out at the Airbnb. We were all, I think it was our last night together. So we were all hanging out at the Airbnb and they were like, oh yeah, dude, we got to get a picture. And I'm the worst at that stuff. And it's not that I don't want it. It's just that I'm the worst of kind of like thinking about it and I don't want to impose and all that other good stuff. And so we're like, yeah, sure. Cool. Let's get a picture. And then, so we take the picture and then I'm just like, and then I see the picture. I'm like, what the hell? Everybody else put their shoes on. Sure. And Mike doesn't need to put his shoes on. Millennial Mike is like 6'4". He doesn't need to put his shoes on. I'm a little over 6 feet, but then he puts his boots on and now he's kind of like towering over me and I don't have any shoes on. I'm literally barefoot because I'm just hanging out at the house or in socks. And so it was really funny because these guys all have their shoes on and I'm just like taking this relaxing picture, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then I'm like, holy cow, why do I look so different? It looks so different. It's because everybody else had their shoes on and I didn't. So yeah, it was an overshare, but I was laughing because everybody else got their shoes on. And then I was like, oh yeah, let's take the picture. I didn't think anything of it until I see the picture. And then I'm like, why is everybody like so much taller? That was me. That was me. Crazy. Let's see. Yes, good point, Rob. Yep, Robert Farinelli, clarification on growth versus seasoned. Yep, things new investors should focus on versus people far along, or maybe have rehab for X looks different for someone with 2 versus 20. Yeah, so I think the difference is I think, Robert, that's a great concept. One of the things that we really teach through the course is making sure that people understand that I want to give you that cheat sheet so you don't rehab like you have 2, you rehab like you have 20 or 40 or 80 or 120. I want you guys rehabbing like I rehab because it's lower cost, it's a better end result, and it costs less money. That's why I want people rehabbing the way that I rehab. That's where I believe I can teach you a lot of those lessons in product acquisition, product selection, so you're not replacing it in 3 years, right? I have this one guy, he's just like, I don't know why you buy that stuff. And I said, because it's more expensive. He goes, yeah, exactly. What he doesn't understand is one of the things that he complains about all the time when we hang out is how another $300, another $400, you know, he's referring to appliance repair. There's a reason I bought what I bought and why I buy what I buy. And is it a little bit more expensive than him? Yep. But within 5 years, it's become a much less expensive machine to run, not only on parts and labor and repairs, but also on water and sewer bills, which in my area are very expensive. And I literally make up the difference in the cost in the first 18 months. So it's one of those weird lessons that as you do it, it's the opposite of death by 1,000 cuts. It adds up to a lot more money because I'm saving money here. I'm saving money here. I'm saving money here. And that was only with one decision of picking the right appliance. So there you go. Matt Bittner, good morning, sir. That was the one thing that I can tell you I probably missed the most. I tried to really kind of back off of YouTube and really spend my time with my kids while I was there. And so I didn't really do any content, but I watched way less. Because I had Dion and Millennial Mike there, I had their content 24/7. And we were having a lot of fun discussions. But yeah, by far, Simon, uneducated economist, I got so behind on watching his stuff. I was able to do a few, after like kids went to bed and the family went to bed, and then I kind of had a little bit of time. So I was able to watch some of his stuff, but yeah, I realized how much of his stuff I watch, and I was kind of like, whoosh. I missed it. Let's see. Robert, very personal case for me. This summer, replace a furnace with a new furnace or IBC. I was quoted $10,000 difference. If I had a lot more units, I would pay the extra 10,000 for peace of mind. Right. But you asked a lot of questions of me, and I think you feel pretty good about your decision. That's what I'm here for. That's what I want to help people with, because if you can start operating, not like you have 2 or 4, but you start operating and buying like you have 20, you're making better decisions. You're making more money. It's costing you less money and you're getting better results. That's what I love. That's why I do this. That is why I do this. Laser focused solutions, swapping out a washer and dryer while being entertained by you all. Well, congratulations on the swap. Hopefully it's a good swap. I won't put you on the spot and ask you what machines you swapped with. Brian, looking to sell a house I inherited in the next 90 days, a 3-1 in a super desirable community, Maryville, Tennessee. Okay. The house is in livable condition and even has a new fence, LVP flooring, and HVAC. Okay. I'm just going to skip down so I can hit your entire question. I will get back to everybody, I promise. Brian, a little rough, a few pieces of cracked or missing vinyl siding, paint, switch covers, etc. I live almost 2,000 miles away, so I can't really manage renovations or repairs from so far away. Let's see. Should I list it with a realtor or post about it in the ORAT community, Bigger Pockets, and see if I can find an investor or aspiring landlord to purchase? I think you do them all. I think you do all of those things first, because those things cost you nothing. They cost you nothing. So I would do all those things first. The question is, how do you then show off the property? Do you have somebody there local? The problem is that by law, they actually can't show your property. By law, they can't. So I would always post it everywhere. The idea in real estate is exposure, exposure, exposure. The issue is that you want a sale. Don't be too concerned about the cost, of the realtor. You inherited it. It's going to cost you something. My belief is that, livable, affordable, you're using a lot of words that to me make me feel like it's dated, could use some work. And all those things are okay. What's the goal? If the goal is to get every last dime you can out of the property and maximize, then yeah, you might need to fly out there, meet some contractors, have some conversations, maybe address some of those things. If the goal is, I don't want to go there, that to me is a nightmare. I don't want to have to go through that experience. Then I would have a conversation. I would interview. What you need to be doing is interviewing some real estate agents. You need to be interviewing some real estate agents and having the conversation with them and tell them exactly what it is. Have them go tour the house. One of the things that I would do is I would talk with a bunch of agents on the phone. For me, I would fly out there. If I were meeting with a bunch of these agents, I would fly out there, meet all those agents at the house, and then have them give me the number of what they think they should sell it for. And then understand, hey, how well do you know this area? How many deals have you done in the last, 6 months? Really interviewing the agents, because if you get a rock star agent versus an average agent, well, then there you go. So it really depends, Brian, what the goal is the best advice that I can give you. For me, I would likely, if it were me, I would hop on a plane and I would see all the things that need to get addressed, and I would work over the next few weeks and I'd get them addressed. If I was just in that place where I said, whatever, any dollars that I get from that are dollars that I wasn't expecting and that I don't particularly like, I don't want to say need, but that's kind of what I mean. Then I would find somebody that can sell it as is. And at the same time too, you just need to find what ability you have to show the place if you're not there, if you were to try to sell it to an investor, because those people are still going to want to see the property. I would not take a deal that they didn't see the property, because they could, if they're not that committed, then they might not be that committed to close. That's just what my feeling is and how I run my business. Feel free to glean from that what might help you. Angel R, Lumberjack. I'm doing a bath renovation. Yep. Would you please share any bathtub brand or model you prefer in renovations? I can't afford to pay for cast iron, considering Kohler or Sterling 400 and 900 bucks. I would, yeah. So I understand. That's why we refinish our cast irons, is because we love them. We just had to get rid of one. And I was kind of bummed. We wanted to repair it, but the issues that it had were bad. They were bad. The cast iron, the porcelain was cracked. The cast iron was rusted because the porcelain had cracked. It was going to be a massive renovation for that. And it was like, I can just get a new one put in place, and then I have peace of mind. And so we actually went with a Kohler. We went with a Kohler. We didn't go with a complete surround. We went with a Kohler, and then we're tiling up on the walls. The key is understanding the cost of tiling. Tiling is extremely expensive, especially in a shower. Usually for a shower is about 72 to 82 square feet of tile. Typically you're buying tile that's going to be anywhere from $3 up to $6 or $7 a square foot. And then you're looking at, for a shower, if you want them to hardy board backer, and then seal the seams, and then waterproof the wall, and then doing your mastic, we are all in on most of our tile surrounds. We're about $1,800 is what it costs us to tile a surround. It's done in a day. Yeah, it's done in a day. We're usually using 12 by 24 inch tile. And so, yeah, you're about $1,800 to tile the surround where I am. And now that includes labor. That includes material. And that includes, no, does that include tile? We've had some that have been without. So I would give you a $1,600 to $2,000 range. That's what I've paid for the last 2 or 3 that I've done in the last year. So $1,600 to $2,000 is about what you're looking at if you do a tile surround. If you do a plastic fiberglass surround, guys, I can tell you, it's ugly. It's ugly, and it's still going to cost you $800 to $1,000. This is an area where I would spend the extra $1,000, make it look nicer, much nicer, drastically class up the place. And if they're doing that surround, maybe you have them do the floor too, because most bathrooms are going to be about 60 square feet. Maybe you have them do the bathroom floor. Maybe you just do a different flooring where you do like the higher end adhesive tiles that I think are about $3 a square foot, but you can lay out the pattern and you can do it yourself. I've done a number of bathrooms with the high end, not the cheap ones, the high end adhesive tile. And it came out beautiful, came out absolutely beautiful. So, yeah, so that's what I would tell you. Hopefully that was a help to you, Angel. But yeah, I like the Kohler. I like the Kohler. Install is key there. Make sure that you're reading the manufacturer's warning. I had one where the guy installed it. I wasn't there when he installed it. And then I found out later that he didn't use a cement pad to actually push the thing down in. So it had basically support for underneath the floor, because the floor is like a little bit suspended when you use some of the deep soaking tubs. And so, yeah, I got got because that tub ended up cracking. We had to rip it all out. We had to rip it all out. It sucked. We had to rip it all out because somebody's floor went through the tub. They hadn't properly supported the floor, i.e. with you can use sand underneath it, but then you have to corral the sand in there so it doesn't squish out when you step on it, because step, and eventually it's not touching sand anymore. That's why a lot of times they'll use like some sort of like they usually use concrete, and you can do like a fiberglass enforced concrete. But then you kind of put that in and squish it down, and then it actually has a firm base to kind of sit on top of, so it doesn't crack. Courtney McNeil, I love Summerlin by the Meadows School. Love it. Awesome. Courtney, thanks so much for joining us. Happy to have you on the channel. Yeah, I really love Summerlin. What was interesting to me was Summerlin had stuff that was as inexpensive as like in the threes up to 40 million. 40 million? I mean, like, I want to be cool and I want to hang out with Mark Wahlberg and all, but I'm not buying in your neighborhood. Oh, Tom Kine at Brian, email me. My nephew there can help. Very cool. Love this, guys. Love this community. This is what we do this for. We do it for each other. We do it for our families, and then we do it and we help each other. This is part of it. That's why the boot camp, guys, let me digress a little bit. The boot camp is so important to me because I believe that as people get elite, they'll get elite together. And I think that you'll have relationships in those groups where it will give you what I talk about all the time, which is a network. Imagine you guys go through boot camp together. It's just like real boot camp. I have a lot of friends that were in the armed forces. They went to boot camp. They still stay in touch with their group of guys or girls, but mostly my friends are hanging out and staying in touch with their buddies. But they still talk to them 10, 20, 25 years later. They still talk to them. And that's why I called it boot camp, is because it's going to be rigorous. But I think the relationships formed there. My goal is not to get you to hate me, by the way. But my goal is to have iron sharpening iron and us to spend that time together. You get access to me. So we can do this type of stuff where there's only 20 of you in the group, only 20 of you asking questions, and answers. But then the journey that you're going to have with your fellow boot campers is just really of importance to me, because you know what it takes to then get through this course. You know what it takes to grow and get great and get amazing and get elite. Let's see. Steven, has anyone have any experience with buying a rental property with a prior sinkhole claim? Ooh, I'm thinking of house hacking my first rental. Steven, that is a great question, and one that I am completely ill prepared to answer. I am not prepared to answer that at all. Because I've never done a sinkhole. But I would love it if, when you find out, if you would share with the group, because we're all here to get better. So appreciate that. Let's see. Dishes every day. Good morning. Super great to have you here. Anna K. Good morning, Matt. Welcome back. I know it was a long time away. Brian, Tom, how do I get in touch with you? Yep, you guys definitely can connect. Good call, Matt. Knowing where and when to stop demo is crucial. It really is, guys. It really is. Don't do too much. There's value in everything that you're ripping apart. And shameless plug for my buddy Simon, Uneducated Economist. Here's what I will tell you. Watch lumber prices. They're really low right now, but that's not going to stay that way. If you believe in the supply theory that he has and the Cantillon effect, or Cantillon, sorry, the Cantillon effect, my horrible English taking presence here. I believe that he's exactly right. A lot of the problems that we had were supply chain issues. It wasn't necessarily purely based on inflation. It was too many dollars chasing too goods, but it was because the supply chain was screwed up that we weren't getting enough goods through. Now we're going to see what he talks a lot about, the bullwhip effect. And guys, you got to watch his stuff. I'm telling you, a lot of the decisions that I make in my business are based on what I watch Simon talk about. I want to run my business the best I possibly could. I know that putting off doing those 3 decks until this spring, I know saved me an absolute fortune. So, UE, thank you, my man. Let's see. Uneducated, hanging out. Thanks, buddy. Good to see you, pal. Uneducated economist, Simon in the house. Anna K, I did not sign up for the course yet, for the course this year, but I plan on self-managing in 5 or 6 years. I plan on budgeting for the course gradually. Great. We'll love to have you anytime you're ready. What I will tell you is that there are some of those tools that you're looking at that you want to do that are in there. Most people think that when I talk about self-managing, I'm talking about only self-managing my own properties. What they should understand is that when you're self-managing, it could be that you're self-managing a property manager. When you're managing that property manager, you need to know when something that they send over doesn't look right or isn't the right amount, and then get them to drill down. I will help people find the frauds and the clowns in property management, because there are tons of them. There are 4 that I know of in my area. They suck. They rip people off constantly. And I'm surprised. I'm literally surprised. I bought properties from owners that use them as property management. The properties are always in deferred maintenance condition. They are always well under market for rent. And I always get a good deal. And I'd like to thank those bad property managers because it helps me make money. I'm literally putting the landlord out of his misery, because working with those companies, they are absolutely not providing the value that they should be providing. I know, Hyder, it's a family affair. Yeah, always good to see Simon. Dividend Dave, sorry so late. Can you repeat the last 30 minutes? Good news. You can click the button. It was amazing. I can honestly tell you the first 10 minutes was just about the trip. So you're not going to miss a whole lot there. I like to share with everybody what the trip was. You guys are so gracious and forgiving. I was like, holy cow, I haven't posted a video in like 3 weeks. It was really because finishing the course, all the recording there, they're still editing now. And then vacation. So it was just a lot of time with my family. Brian, let me know if I helped answer the question above. I'll see you in the scroll down later on. Damn, Steven, is that a verified sinkhole or just a claim or just BS? I'm very interested to know that. Let's see. Gypsy Tree question. What advice would you give a sideline buyer looking to get my primary cashed up, no debt, good employment? Sorry, let me just scroll down just a little bit here. I know my screen's going to reset. Okay, thank God. So Gypsy Tree, that's a really good question. So the advice that I would give you is this. If you're continuing to do the math and nothing looks like it's going to cash flow, I would start looking at different assets in that same market. So if you're looking at singles and they don't cash flow, if you're looking at dupes, tries, and quads, or they don't cash flow, they're only in horrible areas, I would be looking at different asset types. I'd be looking at if there's a house with an ADU or a casita. That was a word that I'd heard before, but didn't really understand until I spent time in Las Vegas, understanding the purpose of a casita, understanding kind of what it is, what my options are with it. But I would be looking at ADU, granny flat, auxiliary dwelling unit, additional dwelling unit. I would have all of those things spelled out in my real estate search to be looking for the type of asset that others aren't looking for. So here's one of the things that everyone loves to talk about: crash, 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 crash. Guess what? Wall Street is predictable. And while they have tons of money, they can also make stupid decisions, but they also make decisions based on what they're promising their investors. So what is a typical real estate investment look like for Wall Street? It's going to be newer than 1979 because they don't want to have to think about lead or any of these other potential major issues, because they know they would never win in court because most people hate them. And so they buy newer than 79. And they buy typically normal configuration, 3-1 or 3-2. So what do you have to do to get around that? You start looking at 2 1s. You start looking at 4 1s or 4 2s. You start looking at bigger assets. You start looking at things that have an ADU. They are looking for vanilla transactions. You are smarter than that. You are better than that. And if you took my course, you're damn better than that. So you put yourself in a position where you start looking at assets that don't have the broad eye appeal of everybody else. You can look at a 2-1 and maybe convert it to a 3-1. You can maybe convert it to a 2-2, where if you convert it to a 2-2, now you've got a pretty marketable property because you've got a bathroom for every bedroom. That's what I start looking at. I don't abandon the area. I abandon the asset class. Or maybe not abandon, but certainly, look at other asset classes. So I would look at other asset classes outside of that. I'd also consider looking at, look at zoning, and you might be able to find buildings in an area that was being used as one thing that now is no longer in use, and it can be used as a residential unit. So the kind of the loft idea or the warehouse conversion idea, bigger, more aggressive of a strategy, but I would be looking probably, I like staying local. So I would continue to look in that local market, and I would continue to look at asset, the asset classes. And there's nothing wrong with stacking cash. There just isn't. I don't believe cash is trash. I don't. I believe that in the coming recession, I think cash is going to be really important. That's why I spent a year refinancing 20 some odd number of properties that I had and buying with a new product, because I wanted to keep as much cash as possible. Because when things do decline, I believe 10 to 20% nationally over the next couple of years, there's going to be deals that I'm going to absolutely steal because I can do the deal in cash and then I can refi out. So that's what I will do. Hopefully that helps. Let me know. Dividend Dave, no hider. That's not how it works. See, that's right. Dave, I forgot. We're going to call this the 4 Dividend Dave show. CJ Underwood, can't wait for this course in boot camp. Just walked an off market 4 unit this morning. CJ, that's awesome, dude. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm so excited for this course. I really, really am pumped. Let's see. LOL, we can go back for as far as you pay for. Michelle Meyer, good morning. So glad you made it. Dividend name Fairport hider. I just wish there was a way I could go back after live stream, but life isn't that fair, I guess. So it's good news is after 24 hours, all of these comments are posted in the live stream, so you still get to see them. So hopefully that helps you guys. I didn't know that that's how it worked until I figured out that's how it worked. And yes, you can turn up the speed. You can watch me in 2x, but that's really difficult because I'm a fast talker. So not quite as fast as the Micro Machines guy was a fast talker, but a fast enough talker where if you actually listen to me at 2x, it even sounds more chipmunky. Paula Silva, good morning, Matt and everyone. Good morning. Good to have you guys. Paula Silva, I already read that. See, it's a little bit of jet lag. Rob, Matt, what metric should I use to determine if solar is a worthwhile investment? The metric of it's not. It's not. It's never, ever, 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 never, ever, never, ever, 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 ever been ever a good investment. With tax, so depending on what there's no real metric, Rob. It's a great question. It's one of those, and the reason why I'm kind of pissed is because I would love nothing more than to do solar on all of my buildings. I would do it tomorrow. But the best return on investment, the best ever return on investment I have ever seen with tax credits and everything else in my state, the best return I've ever seen was 11 years. 11 years. The problem is that in my units, I don't pay for electric. So I'd be spending all that money. And even if I said, okay, I'll pay your electric for you, it would be 11-year return on my investment. That's the best I've ever seen with federal tax credits and state tax credits. The worst I've seen is about 21 years. I would love it. I would love it, love it, love it. If somebody could show me a metric where I could have recovery in under a decade. If I could have recovery in under a decade, there would be a few buildings that I would select. But even at that number, it's 10 years return when a lot of times I can get return on my entire investment on a new house that generates me income in 5 or 6. Like I'll still put the buck method into play, which is best use of capital. I'll still use the buck method. Sorry, message coming in. Not important. Sort of important, but not really important. Let's see. Let's see. Robert Fahrenheit. Oh no, the IBCs I added last summer were replacing existing boilers. Yep. This is an existing furnace, another unit. Got it. Got it. Got it. Brian, he posted on the ORAT board. Oh, Corby, thanks so very much for the super chat. Greatly appreciate this community question above. Okay, Corby, here we go. Just got an offer accepted on the next property. Congratulations. That's awesome. Good for you. Good for you, Corby. 203K loan. Okay. Needs new countertops, a gas range, and flooring. I've already decided on LVP from American Flooring Corp with samples, suggestions. What suggestions are you looking for? So countertops, if you're trying to go more budget, I would look at Butcher Block and then staining them and then polyurethaning them and sealing them and polying them yourself. If you're looking to go higher end, you could go with granite, and I would just look at 3 or 4 companies that make a bunch of, hold on one second. Let's see. Sorry, still working. All right. So it really depends on the kind of upgrades that you're going for, in all honesty. Butcher Block on budget. I did a lot of those myself. So I would stain it the color that I wanted. You can buy a red oak Butcher Block, typically like an 8-footer. You can buy from LL Lumber Liquidators, what used to be Lumber Liquidators, or also Home Depot. They make decent quality. You can then stain it and then you can poly it. So it becomes an afternoon project for you, but you can get a pretty nice countertop. And when it's all said and done, you can be less than $500 installed. When you're looking at granite, I would just be talking to the places. What you're going to find on the granite side of things is you're going to find that they give you an all-in price, then they're going to give you a sink cut price, and then they're going to say this is the price installed. What you want to be really careful of is that because it's a natural stone, none of them look alike. So if you pick, I like a product called Fantasy Brown. You would think it's brown, right? It's not. It's got flecks of brown, but it's mostly like milky white with grays, and really just, it's very vibrant. I love the stone, and I also like to get it leathered. I don't like polished. And so that's one of the things that, again, we'll teach in the course, trying to get the biggest bang for your buck and showing you different products. But again, the major step is just taking, calling is, I worked with Dion on a project. He was looking to upgrade a kitchen. I called 9 granite companies and I said, hey, here are the 2 best out of that group. What made it best was pricing structure, delivery time frame, and the product that we could get. We could get the right product from them. And pricing. It was kind of those 3 main things. So American Flooring Corp, their products so far have been great. I've installed about 8,000, maybe 9,000 square feet. We've got another couple thousand square feet we're going to be doing in the next 6 weeks. So we've installed all that stuff. We've not had any issues with their product. It's all been good. That's not true. We had one where, but it was an install issue. It was an install issue. They didn't properly shim the floor. And so a piece, the connecting piece snapped. So not a big deal. But we were able to go in, basically cut the piece out and replace it. And now it's good. But yeah, that's what I would do when you're looking at countertops, when you're looking at, you can get more in depth, but there's a lot there. C Reyes. Wow. That's a huge variation. Yes, it really is. It's a massive. Yep. All-nighter. Bigger tiles are much better than 4x4s. Yes. Yes. Yeah. 4x4s are brutal. DR Horton here in Salem, Oregon, giving 11,000 for closing costs. Oregon, Willamette Valley, so overpriced. I want less than 175 square foot. Your thoughts? So John, thank you very much for coming and hanging out with us. I think that's the first question I've ever seen you ask. So welcome. Don't know. I don't know that market, and anybody that says that they know all the different markets in the US, they're liar, pants on fire. And so I don't know that market at all. For me, usually price per square foot is more indicative of a new house and the quality of build that it is. In my area, I never look at price per square foot because it just doesn't matter. The only thing I look at is I look at what I can rent it for versus what my cost of acquisition and the updates and upgrades that I'm going to do, really that difference. That's the only thing that I look at. So I'm sorry I couldn't be more help to you. What I can tell you is if you watch, you'll learn some lessons and tips and tricks of how to better buy property. But yeah, buying from a Horton and then giving $11,000 for closing costs, I think in most cases right now, it really is a personal decision. You know, a lot of people that should have bought in 2020 and 2021 and early 22 didn't. And now they're going to be out in the cold for 3 or 4 years waiting for the market to correct. If you didn't buy with a 2.5 or 3% interest rate at what the prices were at that time, then you're effectively saying, you were saying, and you didn't know it at that time, you were effectively saying, I'm looking for a 47.9% drop again, based on where things are now to where they need to end up for you to get to that same size payment. That's how bad it is. That's why all these crash guys are idiots, is because they flat out were giving advice that was wrong. It's cost of money. And if you look at the payment, that's what the bank's approving you for. They're not approving you for $1 million home or a $10 million home or a 200K home. They're approving you for the monthly payment based on what your debt to income is and based on what you can actually afford for a monthly payment and have it not exceed the parameters by which they underwrite. That's what you're actually looking for. And so all these people that said, don't do it, don't do it, it's going to crash, going to crash, going to crash, going to crash. Now, will it go down? Yep. Is it going to crash? No. Is there going to be crashes in some local markets? Yep. Vegas is definitely going to be one of those 100%. But in my Buying Vegas series, I'm going to show you how the numbers are skewed by an outlier that doesn't affect hardly any of us. It's kind of amazing. And it's the problem with reading statistics is that you can get them to say pretty much whatever you want. Brian, thanks, Matt. Oh, cool. That answered the question. Awesome. Matt Bittner, do you have any experience renting out land? I don't. I just bought some land. I've never bought land before. I just bought some land in the last 2 years and I'm buying more. I'm buying more land. Yeah. Did I see a super chat? I did. Oh, Millennial Mike, the goat of lumberjacking and landlording. Thanks, buddy. This course is almost live. Like the video to be wealthy, ignore, and all your appraisals will be low. Don't wish that voodoo magic on them, Mike. Don't do it. Thanks, Mike. Good to see you, buddy. It was a blast hanging out with him and his family, his tribe that he brought. It was awesome. We had so much fun. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, Corby. Yeah, got to get your French tongue going to say Cantillon. Yes, see that Cantillon. Yes, exactly. Simon crushes it. Stephen, hope you figure out by the sinkhole. Yeah, I'd love to know. Uneducated economist. I just call it as I see it. That's so true. Thank you for listening. I'm glad you were able to benefit from all the information. So true. That's why I will always support Simon's channel. He did things that I didn't understand and know to do. I don't know everything about everything. I know a lot about a little, but I don't know everything. And none of us do. And it seems like a stupid thing to say, but I sought out other experts and that's how I found Simon. Now, aside from the fact that he's got the greatest set of any YouTuber, aside from that fact, he brings it and he brings it on a regular basis. And he's always looking at things that help me better understand what I should be looking at. And so I think that as a real estate investor, I think it's important to watch people that are understanding the inner workings of things so we can better understand what we need to do in our business. And that being said, when you do hear something like that, you can choose to take action or not take action. I saw lumber continue to get more and more expensive. I saw it go up to $1,700 per thousand board feet. I was paying $11 and $12 for a 2x4. I wanted to cry because that's really a $3 piece of wood. But we had things that we had to do. And then we had things that we said, you know what, the better being a great operator, the better use of this capital is holding off on that project, doing other things that haven't risen so quickly. And we will wait it out. And worst case scenario is a year from now, is it going to be higher? Simon said it wasn't going to be higher. And he said, it's possible, but you get to that point where it's like kind of with housing. Is it going to be higher a year from now? In some markets, it might be. In most markets, it won't be. It's going to correct. Is it going to crash? I still don't think so. I think it will correct some. But I can tell you 22,000 units. Now, what that 22,000 comprises of is Dion Talk Financial Freedom talks to Hemlane, and he actually uses Hemlane. They have 18,500 units managed in their system. Zero rents have gone down. Zero. No rents have gone down since when they are in the system being managed. You see what the old rent number was and what the new rent number was. It was either flat or up across the board. Now, I have other friends that own a total of about 3,000, 4,000 units, right around there, between the lot of us. And yeah, I'm not the biggest. One of my buddies owns 650, I think. And so if you look at all those units that are owned, no one's gone down in price. Nobody. At worst, it's been flat. But everybody from what I've seen is still up. Everybody. Across the board, everybody. So yeah, so it's kind of crazy. Let's see. All right. So Denny Carlson, Brian, I'm a realtor and investor around Maryville, Tennessee. Guys, this is what we do this for. We're community. I love this. Denny, thank you so much for jumping in. I really appreciate that. Angel R, very helpful. Thank you. Issue I'm having with the contractor is I have to go back to do little details. So it's up to my standards. Yep. I'm better left paying someone to help me and do the job myself. Yeah, that's so true. And so one of the things that I talk to about with folks is when they go and they do a job, the expectation is it's going to be this. And then I always let them know, okay, I'll pay you once I've seen inspection, and I'll do it within 24 hours. I'm never holding people's money up. That can never be the case. These folks are doing the work to put food on the table for their family. Do not play games. That is something that I have no tolerance of other landlords doing. If you have somebody coming on site, you better have the money to pay them as soon as they're done and you've inspected it and it's the work that you expected and fair and reasonable. Or they know what the payment arrangement is going to be. But these people put food on their table for their family doing this. You need to respect that because you put food on your table and you wouldn't want people delaying payment on you. This is what you guys have to do. We have to be examples in this community. We have to do the right thing. We have to treat our contractors right. We have to treat our tenants right. If you do that, your company and your business you cannot help its growth. It will grow if you just handle yourself with honor and character and integrity. Will you get burned? Absolutely, without a doubt. And then you move on and you understand what you did wrong about the situation. And then you take the next step. I've certainly been burned. However, I want to have a great reputation in my community. I do. I've been doing it for 20 years. And it's my thing that I really want to see people become elite. Part of becoming elite is being that person that people can count on, where you have agreement, you have understanding. And it's not to say that the vendor's always right or the contractor's always right. That's not the case at all. But when you go through that job, I completely agree with you. I actually talk to people and say, yeah, sure, I'll walk the job for you. What I'll do is if there's anything that, is an issue, I'll let you know. But let's meet there. Let's go through it together. And then I can go through it and just say, yeah, this isn't what I want, or this isn't what we talked about. And then say at the end of the day, I'm absolutely going to pay you. I want to pay you, but this needs to be addressed first. So we do that with painters. We'll go through and we'll blue tape it, areas that need fixing. And they always come back and they take care of it. Thankfully, our painters know now, the 2 that we use or 3 that we use, they know now that they're going to get blue taped. So they do a great job the first time. So it's usually a couple of small little things. And it's something that they can come by and touch up in, 30 minutes or an hour type of thing. So yeah, I agree. All Night Hunter, love that we're a team here and so willing to help each other. That's exactly right. It's awesome. Steven, will do. I'll let you know, guys know what's up with sinkholes. Yeah, I'd love to know. Uneducated comments. I just call it like I see it. Thank you for listening. I'm glad it was a benefit to you. Yes. I read that twice now that I read it again, but here we go. Steven, LOL, I try. Cool. Yes, hit the like button. Appreciate that. Robert Fairley, deferred maintenance and undervalue. Are you talking about EJG property management if they are out there on the Sea Coast? I would never name them. I would never name them. There's a number of them that are around. One that I used where I used them, this was years ago. I wanted to give it a shot just so I could talk about what my experience was. I used them and they put somebody in the unit. Within 60 days, they stopped paying. I had to evict them. They destroyed the place and the property management company took no ownership of it. They wouldn't give me a reduction in fee. And they said they lived there for 30 days. And so that's all our contract requires. I said, you're right. That is all your contract requires. P.S. That was one of my, at the time, 40 units. I'll never do business with you again. And I'll be more than happy to share this conversation at every dinner party and meetup that I go to. So thank you for sharing exactly who you are. I wasn't asking for a refund of money, to be clear. My expectation was that they were going to lower their fee in re-renting it. They should have, because they're the ones that placed that tenant. And come to find out, it was something in that tenant's history that they just didn't uncover. So it was their mistake. Now, could I have taken them to court, sued them and won? Yeah, probably. Wasn't worth my time. It's far more worth it to me if they're not going to stand up and be accountable for their job. It's far more worth it to me than just continuously talk about them and share my amazing experience with that company locally. Yeah. Let's see. Uneducated economists. Hit the like button. YouTube algorithm will help spread the video around. Yes. Thank you, Simon. I appreciate that. It's very true. Yes. If you guys want to see a real party, go to one of Simon's live streams. I love hanging out there. It's great in the comments. He's always delivering great content. And he's usually got like 300, 400, 500 people. I saw one where he had like 900 people. I was like, holy Toledo. It was awesome. It was so much fun. Oh, no, my question was regarding primary residence, not a rental. Sorry. No problem. Always just make that delineation because I'm always thinking rentals. I think what you always have to balance. So I think it's a CPA conversation, believe it or not. There's the emotional side of it, but I always, when I need emotion taken out, I just talk to my CPA. So I'll have the conversation with them and I'll say, hey, so I don't know what the future is going to hold. I don't know if properties are going to go down 20% or 30%. I don't know if mortgage rates are going to go up that corresponding amount. I don't know if they're going to also come down. I don't know any of those things. And so the challenging thing about not knowing any of those things, it's impossible to tell the future. So I think for me, it comes down to if you own the property, you have a tax deduction. If you don't own the property and you're just renting, you don't. Your rents over the next 2-3 years, I think are going to continue to go up. So it depends on what your other option is. And that's where I think a lot of these YouTube crashers make a mistake. Don't buy now. Don't buy now. No, that's wrong. You need to do what fits you, what fits your family, what your goals are. And I think that very often over a 10-year period, let's just say it corrects like 08. Let's get nuts. By 2018, everywhere in the country had come back. And in fact, you usually had, all this now 10 years of principal pay down, 10 years of equity. And then you were able to refi at like a 2% rate or 2.5% rate or 3% rate. That's why over a period of time where, you can tell how wealthy a person is by when they talk about money, what their time horizon is. My time horizon, I don't look at a deal. Does it have to fit right this second? If I can get a great deal right now, sure, super awesome. Great, I'll take it. But I look at what does that asset behave like in 20 years. So I bought a ton of property in kind of 12 to 14. I bought a good amount of property. I bought some, but I was still house hacking at that point in like 08, 9, 10, 11, 12. I was still house hacking. So I started just buying stuff that I wasn't going to live in at that point as real true investment. And I got some great deals. I got the numbers worked at that point, but now I look at 10 years forward. There are properties that I've pulled $250,000 of cash out of, still only at 70% loan to value. And I bought 2 more properties with that money that are also less than 70% loan to value. And it's making $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 a month. So that's where I would tell you it's tougher to do it on a residential home, but I would talk to a CPA or an EA and a enrolled agent. I would have that conversation with those guys because they're going to better give you guidance. They're going to better give you guidance with kind of how it fits to you specifically and what your other options are, because you don't want to be homeless, right? You got to figure out what your options are, where I'm going to live and what's it going to cost. And then Corby Cutter started as a primary, house hack it, and then turn it into a rental. Phenomenal idea. 4321 is that strategy. You can look at that strategy on my channel. That's starting as a quad and then going down to a single family. You can still do it with a single family. I know guys that have done it with a single families where they've rented out the rooms, and that's an option as well. So you've got a lot of options there, Gypsy Tree, a lot of good options. Steven, is the course out? The course was just announced that we are going to be, it's going to be live on January 31st. So yeah, very excited for that. And that's when the course will be officially released, is on the 31st. Clint LeClaire, hey, good morning, sir. What you said about deferred maintenance from bad property managers is why that dog of a building I nearly bought is now coming back at 25% below purchase agreement and dropping further. Clint, man. So Clint, I'll share a little bit of the story, Clint. And so Clint had reached out to me. Clint's actually in the course. And because I'm not really a very good rule follower, I was just like, yeah, I want to help him out. Course isn't out yet. It's not finished being edited, but I know I can help him in this situation. He's already signed up for the course. I said, I'm going to help him out. He reached out, gave me a bunch of detail. I gave him, here are all the things I would look at. Here are all the things I would look for. And then, kind of go there, do your due diligence and come back to me. Came back to me with an amazing email, super detailed, really, really thorough. He did an amazing job. And then I was just able to give him perspective based on all the information he gave me. I said, this would be my perspective. And I think he kind of cinched it that it was like his opinion was really, I think, trending away from it. I said, these are the other things I would consider. And now he's decided not to buy the property. As you look at it, this is what he's saying. It's now come back to market 25% less expensive. Now, Clint, now we're starting to get interesting, right? 25% less expensive. We both believe it can probably be had for even less. Now it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, it kind of takes you out of the market for a while. But if you're in a position where you can buy that thing for and have, put another 250,000 bucks into it and see 30 and 40% returns on capital. Ooh, that's tough to walk away from. That's tough to walk from. So I'm super excited that happened. Cash is trash, the cleanest dirty shirt in the laundry. Yes, that's true. Generally speaking, yes. But Hyder, so long as we're participating in society, cash isn't trash. Clint LeClaire, the building really doesn't want to go back in the market as damaged as it is now exposed to be. Yeah, and that's exactly it. So he found a bunch of deferred maintenance, stuff was in bad shape, big items need to be replaced. It's a rundown building. However, the juice might be worth the squeeze. What that basically means is it's going to be tight. It's going to be a squeeze. It's going to be a lot of work. But that's how in some of my buildings, I've found ridiculous returns, 40, 50, 60%. I have some where the rents are more than twice what the mortgage is. So that means that the house makes me more than it costs me. None of that stuff was turnkey. I want to build equity. Laura Samaniego, there are companies, investors in Central Florida that only buy sinkhole properties. Oh, interesting. High insurance cost. Very interesting. That's really cool. Dividend Dave, thanks for the super chat. The Dividend Dave show, finally. I know, right? Yeah, glad he dodged a bullet. Yep. Micro Machines, what a throwback. Used to love them. Love the tiny little cars. Yes, and trucks. Yes. Little Micro Machines. They were awesome. They were so cool. Steven, thanks, Laura. An insurance broker said their citizens would be the only ones to insure, but it's up to them if they want to insure it or not. Interesting. I like quartz over granite for the sealing factor for countertops. Yeah, everyone says that, but I've never had a countertop stain to where I couldn't fix it. So, I can still seal the granite, and I've not seen any issues once I've sealed it. So it's been good so far. Ninja Vanish, do you use tankless IBCs? Yes, I do. It's the best product in the market. I have, I think with this last one that we did, I think we just hit 30. I think we've deployed 30 of them. And if you do the quick math, it's like anywhere from a $8,000 to a $17,000 install. So just on those, I've spent, probably close to $500,000. Not true. Probably close to like three to 400,000. I have to look at the exact numbers, but we spent a lot of money on IBCs. Amazing product. Oh, and by the way, the IBC rep, yep, he's agreed to come and speak with us. I was like, sweet. All I had to do was spend $400,000 on boilers, and now this guy's willing to have a conversation. But he was great. He was really good. Corby, let's see here. House hack, gonna do it like I have 20 properties. Yep. Even though this is my second, probably will do granite. Greatly appreciate the info. Looking forward to the course. Want to upgrade to the boot camp. Awesome. Yeah, I'm telling you, the course is going to be there. You guys can upgrade to the boot camp anytime you want and jump in. You can always rewatch those videos. Again, it's for you guys have full access for a year. The reason that I did it that way is because based on what we were putting in the course and the fact that we're going to continue to add to it, we wanted to have a subscription model, but we didn't want to start off with a subscription model because we had massive costs, obviously, putting all this stuff together and all the data that we need to, put together and editors and all that other good stuff. But yeah, after that, it's a monthly renewal. You guys can choose to renew or not. But if we're continuing to put amazing content out there, you will. If I'm not, you won't. And so it's 100% on me delivering what I'm supposed to be delivering to you to see if it's something that's going to be worth it. Dividend Dave, where's Dung Tai? I don't know. I talked to Dung Tai this week too. He's super pumped for the course. I'm so ready. Dung Tai is going to be a huge addition to the community. 66 units, does it in some bigger buildings. I'm so excited. Dung, if you're watching, if you're hanging out, pumped to have you as part of the community. I think you're going to help a lot of people out. And I think we'll be able to give you some great ideas on how to better manage the portfolio that will save you some money. That's one of the things I was looking at. I was talking to somebody and they said, what do you think that someone's return on their investment in the course is going to be? I said, man, I don't know. I said, it's almost infinite. If you just do like 2 or 3 of the things and it saves you from just a couple big mistakes, it will pay for itself 5 times over in the first year or two, easily. Just with all the things that we brought, it's good. It's good. I'm proud of it. And we're going to make it great. We'll continue to make it better. Gypsy Tree, I understand your aversion to cash is trash. Yep. Having dry powder when deal present themselves is paramount. But what about risk of banking insolvencies? FDIC is a scam. So that's true. So you have FDIC, but you also have, what is the other one too? GIF. So agreed. So let's just get conspiracy theory. The idea is that at that point, you don't have to outrun the bear. You only have to outrun the slowest person from the bear, right? And if the entire economy topples, then only the elite of the elite are going to survive anyway. But if we're just having a conversation based on what's currently going on and just the day-to-day that we live with, I need to have cash available or access to cash available to buy any deal. That's just the fundamentals of real estate. Unless, of course, you're doing seller financing and all those other creative strategies, but those people need income too. And if the economy gets really bad, is somebody going to sit there and trust someone to pay them back? They don't want a house back if the market's down 50%, right? So I think some of those strategies in this time might get more difficult because of basically anybody that owns that asset is going to be trusting that you're going to be able to pay them back. Or they're going to have to repossess it. That should be fun. Because then they still have to go through the same process of defaults and all that good stuff. Yes, Dung Tai is missed. Yes, absolutely true. Angel Art, do you use HardieBacker or Schluter for tub surrounds? So I use HardieBacker and then I seal it. I haven't used the Schluter was really, and you tell me if I'm wrong, Angel, the Schluter that I saw was really super expensive. And properly applying it is a really big issue too. So HardieBacker to me is just a super simple solution. And a lot of times with these older homes, you have a more wonky wall. And so if I can use something that can kind of beef that up for me a little bit, which is if I can use the HardieBacker half versus the HardieBacker quarter or a 3/8 stuff, you can use the 5/8 stuff. That gives me a solid wall, a solid substrate that I know I'm going to be attaching and affixing to. And then I don't worry. And then I just waterproof that. Usually the roll on with roll on waterproofing, tape the seams and then do the roll on waterproofing. That's typically what we've done. Let's see. Dung tie is missed. Yep. Crash and correction need to be defined. Yeah. Crash is over 20% correction in a market. Correction is less than 20%. So I believe I'm in that 10 to 20% correction over the next, couple of years. So it's going to be hard in some places and not so hard in others. Matt, I'll hunt that land for you. Make sure your animals are doing well. It's not that big a parcel. I bought one piece of land that was 0.1 acres and it's between two houses. I own one of the houses. That's why I bought the land, is I didn't want some idiot coming in and building some monstrosity next to me. What's the other piece of land that I own? Do I own a second piece of land? No, I have one that I'm working on. I don't own it yet. Fingers crossed. Keith Hager, is there a specific wall color you use for interior paint? Yes, there is. My paint colors are based on natural light from windows and lighting. So yes, there is a color. So yes, so it's the color that you see behind me. It's called Stone Harbor Gray. Stone Harbor Gray is the name of it. Yep. And I use it in a satin or eggshell sheen. So yeah, it's good. It's good product. It's good product. Benjamin Moore. That's what I use. And then what's the correct term for the pancake lights? Hold on. Correct term is. Correct term is. Recessed LED. Recessed LED. That's the technical term. Then they come in 4-inch, 6-inch. Then they come in different lumens. I like the Kelvin, which are 5,000 because it's most like sunlight. Doesn't hurt your eyes. Doesn't strain your eyes. People that get fatigued by that or get migraine headaches or get headaches, it's a lot of times it's lighting. So I like to use those, and then I like to put them on a dimmer switch. And all of that stuff is in my Lumberjack Landlord product reviews. Oh my goodness. Dividend Dave, Dung Tai. Where did he show up? Where'd he goes? Where's Dung Tai? Oh, he didn't show up. I got all excited. I thought Dung Tai showed up. That's a bummer. Hold on one second. Cool. All right, we're going to be wrapping up because my wife just told me that she's bringing lunch. And in case you couldn't tell, I'm wasting away. I need some lunch. Yes, recessed LED. Gypsy Tree. The Fed distorts reality by playing God with price, and sadly, responsible people like myself have been priced out of melt just trying to get primary. Yep. For my single fam. Yep. Didn't FOMO the last 2 years, now left in dust. Gypsy Tree, you're going to get your chance. The market will correct. The market doesn't do this. It did the last 2 years, but it doesn't do this all the time. So the market, this is what happens when the feds get involved, when the government gets involved, is they create winners and losers. And this is a problem. So the good news is that when you can finally track how they're creating winners and losers, that's how people get rich. The good thing to know is that the market will correct. It will come down 10 to 20%. I believe that you will see lower mortgage rates eventually because we're going to be in recession, and that's what they're going to do to goose the economy. I believe that they're going to do that again. So what you find is that it's going to get closer and closer together, the results, right? So I understand that it's frustrating. Totally understand what happened. I think that markets are going to correct. I think rates are going to come down over the next 2 years. So keep on doing what you're doing. Keep on doing the research and being ready. I think you're doing a fantastic job. Just keep on doing that work. Keep on doing it. I get it, but it's just like anything else. And this is a horrible comparison because I only know of this from 20 years ago, not any idea now recently. as you go to the gym, it's just maintaining, even if you're building or you're maintaining, right? If you don't go to the gym at all, you lose it. And so if you don't use it, you lose it. It's the same thing here with real estate. If you don't use it, you lose it. So keep on doing it. You only need one. Keep that in your head. You only need one. A lot of investors and home buyers get really discouraged. You only need one, guys. You only need the next one. That's why I don't get discouraged. I do the work every single day, but I don't need to buy 100 more or 10 more, or even I don't have to buy one more. But even if you do have to buy the one more, it's only the next one. You only need the next deal. You'll get a great deal. Just stay disciplined. Keep on doing the work. It's going to break your way. There's no doubt in my mind it will break your way. So just keep on doing the work and stay disciplined. You'll get there. You'll win. There's no doubt in my mind. I don't know the time in which you'll win, but I know that you will eventually win if you keep on doing the work. Don't give up. Keep on pushing. You'll do it. Let's see. Oh, the guy that trained me told me many times that my standard as a contractor has to be higher than the homeowner that hires me. That's exactly right. Keith Akonsky, shout out to you. That's exactly right. Theta Hedge, what's up? Hey, what's up, Theta Hedge? Rob, is Uneducated Accomplishment doing Zoob's course? I don't know. Not really sure. I'm always open to helping Simon on or off camera. So I'm not sure what he's going to decide, but I'm an open book to him. I'm available whenever he needs me. I'm happy to jump in, do whatever he wants, to help him out. He helped me out a ton with his information on his channel. And so I owe it to him. He saved me a lot of money, and I'm happy to help him make some, for how much he helped save me. So, whatever he decides he wants to do, I'm happy to do it. And yeah. So I'm excited to see what his journey is. We've just basically had a conversation. So whenever you're ready, I'm ready. So it's really, truly, I know he's got a lot in life going on. And so whenever he's ready, I'm ready to jump in and help him. Let's see. Yeah, I think so. So there's Zuber's course, one rental at a time. A lot of that is, so it's generally kind of teaching how to buy homes. I think, where Simon can really excel is the fact that he also is a tradesman, and he also knows the market for product and materials. So I think, where Simon's going to blow it out the door. And I think that because of his skill set, he has the ability to buy assets that many others don't know how to buy. So I think that he could absolutely crush it. But yeah, obviously, I bought, 100 and something properties. So we have kind of our way of doing things, and it works out pretty well. So yeah, I'm happy to help him however his journey goes. Jay Aguilar, hey Lumberjack, how would you answer somewhere if they were interested? How would you answer someone, I would guess, if they were interested in getting into real estate rental game with 150,000, what would you recommend? What would you do if that was you? 150,000 to get into the rental game. Well, the first thing that I would do is I would learn the market inside and out. I would be investing in learning and understanding. So I'd be doing a lot of investing in education. Would my goal be just to get a return on my capital? Would a goal be to actually become a player? And what I mean by player is I want to self-manage. I want to build this thing. So yeah, it's nice to retire on a few units. However, what if you could retire grander than you'd ever imagined? Do you really think that I wanted to grow a company to 137? I didn't. That wasn't the goal. The goal was never a number. The goal was we're going to keep on doing great deals so long as we can add value, get better, and create more cash flow. That's what we've done. So now we have really the flexibility to do kind of whatever we want, like take 2 weeks off in Vegas and not really do anything other than drive around in a car and look for more investment property. Plus all the fun stuff we got to do with the kids. So I would say the first step is education. I would be doing a lot in education. I think one of the best courses I've ever heard of is Cody and Christian Multifamily. I know that they give access. I think their course is, it's $3,000 for a lifetime membership. They are phenomenal. Their strategy and how they've acquired so many properties. They're great guys. They're super smart. They've been really successful. They've got tons of assets, tons of property. And I like how they've done it. I think the most important thing in the next few years is really understanding non-conventional ways to buy. I think if you can do a seller finance deal, if you can do something like, like what Cody and Christian are doing, I think it's a big differentiator. So yeah. Let's see. Success is Janelle. Good morning. Good morning, Janelle. I had a tenant I had to evict and now having issues finding a qualified tenant during this time of year. Any recommendations? So yeah, wintertime up here in the Northeast, really hard. Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, it's all challenging. One of the things that I would do, and this is one of the things we actually take through in depth in the course, I would be reaching out to the housing authority. That's the first thing I would be doing. I'd be reaching out to housing authority. One of the things that we talk a lot about in the course, we actually have a whole module on it, is how to do student housing. If you have colleges around you, how to properly market to college kids. Everyone's like, oh, I would never want to do that. They'll destroy a place. You know who's actually got a far worse record? I know I'm going to piss some people off. You know who actually has a far worse record at destroying units for me than college kids? It'll crack you up when you see it. How far am I off? Oh my goodness, so many questions. All right, hold on. Let me blast through these and then you guys can start to pile in with information. Laura Samaniego. Steven, you're welcome. That's awesome. Yeah, companies fix houses sitting on sinkholes is amazing but expensive. So true. Laser Focus Solutions, Whirlpool for Maytag. Good choices. Good choices. I like it. Good choices. Let me see here. Oops. Oh, my banker texting me on a Saturday. Love it. Tina, you're my favorite. Love you. Gypsy Tree. Yes, thanks, Lumber. I drank a lot of the Crash Bros Kool-Aid. Yeah, guess reality is somewhere in between. I mean, I think my reality is real. I mean, I'm making a ton of money. I've done it for years. You can too. The Crash Bros are wrong. I'm sorry, but they were just wrong. This crash that they talked about in 21 didn't happen. The crash they talked about in 22 didn't happen. At best, the worst market right now is only still correction. And I can show you how the numbers are completely skewed by that correction. Watch my videos buying Vegas. You'll see how the numbers are completely skewed because again, Crash Bros don't know what they're talking about. They just don't. You show me a Crash Bro that's a major real estate investor and I'll start listening, but not while most of these guys are renters or they own their only their single family home. They just don't know. For them, it's a depression because their transactions have disappeared because they always were living off the phone ringing the last 2 or 3 years. The phone would ring and they would just answer and go, hi, yeah, sure, I'll collect my commission check. That's how it went. Or sure, yeah, I can close a mortgage with you. Yeah, no, it's good. Everybody gets approved. So for the last 2 or 3 years, that's what their life looked like. The fact of the matter is that it doesn't look like that anymore. And they're actually having to grind to make a living. So most of these guys are still just renters or they own their own home, but they raised their level of living to their standard of what their income was the last couple of years. And it's not that anymore. If I were them and I had the limited skill set that they have, I'd be depressed too. My rents are not down. They're all up. So with all due respect, I don't think it's in between at all. They're just flat out wrong. They've been wrong. Now, will they crash? Some markets will, sure, but most markets won't. And even if it's down 10 or 20% with what the new effective rate is, you're still paying 30% more for your payment. Who won? Them. They're the only winners in this mess because they got paid all that money for all those clicks when they were giving a bunch of bad information. So that's just me. That's the way I look at it. Richard Gamino. Hopefully I said that right. Richard, great to have you. Matt, great to have you back concerning hard water areas. Yeah. Do you install water softeners? If so, what's the best to have installed? Yes, I do. I don't know what the best is to have installed. You know what? We're going to do some crazy live television. Hold on 1 second. I'll tell you because I actually have a water softener just outside my studio. The magic of modern television. Or YouTubing. All right. So it's called NP Extra. I don't know if that's just the controls or if that's everything, but it's called MP Extra. Really good stuff. Phenomenal for our system. We have very weird water here. And that water is very hard. And yeah, we have an amazing system. So yeah, water softeners, salt systems, the whole 9 yards. NP Extra were all the controls. Excuse me. Hider, fixing countertop stains. Interesting. Yeah. Have you been able to fix plumber's putty left on granite, or are your plumbers experienced enough not to do that? Yeah. Thankfully, no plumber's putty on granite. Thankfully. Give me just 1 second here. Mrs. Lumberjack said she'd be home in a few minutes, so that's when we will wrap this up. Let's see here. Oh, thanks again, Dave. I use a vapor barrier behind the Hardy backer. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Only tape the seams with thin set to make uniform. Yes, exactly. Yep, nothing crazy heavy. And yes, vapor barrier is crucial. I'm being very generous or irritating with super chats today. No, generous and ask questions. You can make a comment. I'll still read it. You don't have to pay me for that. But we love it because it helps the super chats, and the super chats help the algorithm, and the algorithm pushes it out to more people so more people can learn. Millennial Mike, I just edited that segment last night. Yes, paint wall color is part of the course. It's true. Yeah, Mike's been doing an amazing job editing a lot of this stuff, especially with yours truly teaching everything. So I so hugely appreciate all the hard work he's put in. It was great to have those guys in Vegas. Master Coach University. We are renovating a triplex and had a GC tell me that he thought we had asbestos. We need to test for mold, lead, historic property. My partner wants to avoid all that and just renovate. So, you have to do what you feel comfortable doing. Some GCs will break you. They'll put you in the poorhouse and they'll bankrupt you. At the end of the day, it depends on what your local laws are. It depends on, are you remediating the lead properly? If there's asbestos, are you remediating that properly? In many cases, asbestos doesn't have to be removed. It just has to be quarantined. You have to find out what your local rules and laws are, and then talk to a bunch of those different companies. I had this one house that I bought. It was reduced $100,000 because it had black mold. It was reduced $100,000. Yep. I had a company come in and do all the work that was needed for $10,000. They saw the same house, but because the bank saw that it had black mold, because the agent made such a huge ordeal about it, we've lost every buyer because it has black mold. It didn't matter. I ripped it all out. We ripped it all out, did it properly, ripped it all out, had studs scraped in the whole 9 yards. And as you can imagine, the entire house didn't have black mold. When they actually took down the 2 rooms that had black mold on the sheetrock, what they found was that there was almost no black mold whatsoever on the actual studs and the cavities. There were in the couple of areas it was exposed. So they were able to properly treat them, scrape them down, blast them. And then they were able to HEPA filter everything, clean everything. And then they put in basically a spray retardant to cover everything to ensure that it would never come back. And anything that was there was then encapsulated. $10,000, $100,000 discount. You'll find the same thing. I love finding stuff like that because if you can really see, now you have to sign a waiver when you go walk those properties. You have to wear a mask and all that good stuff. It's fine. Whatever. That's life. But I picked up when I sold that house, I bought that house for $227. I put about 130 into the actual house itself. So I was into it for $350. We paved the driveway and paved part of the road and did some other things like that. But when it was all said and done, I sold that house after 2 years for about a $200,000 profit. And I was able to 1031 that, or excuse me, because we had lived there for 2 years, no tax. So I was able to get $200,000 in my pocket, not pay taxes on it because we were there for 2 years and we timed everything. We timed everything. It was months before we could move in because we were doing all that black mold rehab before we moved in. But then when we moved in, we were there for just about 2 years, and then we sold and we made 200 grand on the property. It's a phenomenal, phenomenal investment. So couldn't beat it. So I would definitely go through those steps and just understand, what is the plan? If the plan is to, again, lead remediation, asbestos remediation, understand your local rules and laws, how things should be done, and then be talking to contractors that are lead safe certified and asbestos certified. And don't pick the ones with all the beautiful vans. I can promise you they're about 30% more expensive than the next guy. And they usually have to pass exactly the same test because they have to send it off chemically and make sure that everything's come back as it should. So hopefully that helps you. Let's see. Yes. Dividend Dave. Sorry for the dung tie tease. I know, I thought he came to the show. I thought it would summon him to the live stream. See, that's good. I like that. Jenny, hi. So glad I caught today. Jenny, good to have you. Thanks so much for coming and hanging out with us. Tom Kine, thanks. You're welcome. Let's see. Cody and Christian are young and pragmatic. Nice to see the future at work. I totally agree. I love working with those guys. They can do it so much. There's some things they've done so much better than me. There's other things that I know that I can help them with because of 22 years experience, and they're great. They want to learn. They're listeners. I've learned from them. They've learned from me. And that's what we want to do in this community. It's just the way we want to do it. Laura teaches, I repaired a sidewalk last year and got a cash discount. Nice. How do I account for that? I have 2 units, but it's shared space, 1 invoice for 5,600. Talk to your accountant and how you'd want to have that split up. He would say, I don't know what my, and the reason I say he is because my accountant's a he. I know that he would give me guidance and say, well, it's this much shared, so it's equally divided. Or that's a CPA question, because I wouldn't venture. I would tell him the scenario and say, how do you want me to account for that? I kind of have a running tab of questions that I have like that, where I would then say, do I need to split this up? Do I need to just account for the fact that I can share that it's 50-50 split? Like I paid this much for the pair, but half of it was applicable to this, or it was in fact for one side. I would have that conversation with an accountant. That's the best approach. My guess is younger kids have done more damage to your properties than older kids. That's not true. Worst renters, roofers, concrete workers, House of Representative politicians. Interestingly enough, I have a politician. And he's not bad at all. He's great, actually. His chief of staff is fantastic to work with. Here's what I would tell you. The worst by far and again, guys, this is just fact. It's not a feeling, and it's not to give anybody a hard time. It's actual fact. Newly divorcees. Yeah. If it's the first apartment that they are getting after they've been divorced, they're the worst. Women more than men. Yeah. Yep. Women more than men. Uneducated economist. I appreciate you, brother. Man, you too. Simon's one of those relationships that if YouTube went away tomorrow, I'd still send him emails, ask him how he's doing. I just genuinely like the guy. I really do. I think he's really here to help people. Yeah, I don't know what it is about. There's just some guys I think they're just really great for the community. I think they really help people. And they're never asking what's in it for them. And I think that Simon's just one of those guys. So yeah, he's fantastic. Lumberjack, LOL, disappearing lumberjack from Millennial Mike. Yeah, so true. Remove putty on granite with auto rubbing compound. Okay, with soft cotton cloth. Crushing it, Keith Hager. Thank you, my man. I appreciate the tip. Oscar, thumbs up. Thank you very much. To be honest, it takes a lot of prolonged exposure for asbestos to be a problem usually. Yeah, agreed. Lead vapor is what's really bad, but not too much. So the solid stuff. Yeah, the solid stuff, again, it's like paint chips and things like that. And yeah, I think, we take that stuff seriously. And so it's just, like I said, it's just a matter of really understanding what the rules and regs are. Richard Gamino. Thanks, Matt. You're the best. Yes, you said my last name perfectly. Not many do. Cool. Very awesome. Well, I think that's, yeah, I try. I certainly do try. And just for transparency, I suck at foreign language. That was by far my worst subject in school. It wasn't even close. Oh my goodness. So I have massive respect where English is your second language is for people that it is. I am horrible at second language. It's bad. It's embarrassingly bad. Saley Mule. I'm renovating a house in Michigan. Basement has asbestos tiles. Oh, okay. Option 1, cover it with new flooring. Option 2, remove it, acid wash, pressure wash, and paint cement floor. No return on this money spent. Cover. I don't want to do asbestos work. And so you'd have to check your local and state laws. I keep on saying that because there are different rules and regs. But when we look at that, when we find that if it's not a hazard, what we're doing is we're going right over it. We'll go and we'll put a not a subfloor. We will put a pad. Dear God, how could I not remember pad? Oh, we'll put a pad down and then we'll put something over it. We'll just put new flooring over it. Again, check the local laws. If it's not a hazard, that's what we do, because you can't do anything. Me personally, I have not removed an asbestos floor before. I wouldn't do it. We've been lucky enough with the ones that we've encountered, we've been able to understand what the local laws are and execute appropriately. So putting down a pad on top of it, then going flooring on top of that, that's been the magic for us. Massive reduction in cost. Good afternoon, Matt. Thanks for the great content. You're very welcome. I'm happy to do it. Great info. Thanks, Matt. You guys are welcome. Thank you, Matt. I was listening in the background, soaking it all up like a sponge. I love it. I'm so super happy to have you guys. And that's the end of our chat, guys. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with me. It was really a great time. Missed you guys. It was great to do it with my buddies last week with Mike and with Dion. I didn't forget your name, Dion, because you are truly unforgettable. But it was a great time. And the question is in person, is he exactly the same? He's exactly the same. He still argues with me and basically gives me perspective. So it's wonderful. But yeah, it was great hanging out with those guys. Great hanging out with you guys. I hope you have just an absolutely fantastic week. Again, course is going live on the 31st. Final editing is taking place now. We only have a few modules left that are finishing editing. And so I'm super excited to do that with you. And boot camp is going to be a blast. I'm so excited to spend that 12 hours with you guys over 12 weeks and really help you guys get elite and answer all your questions. Millennial Mike, thanks for coming as always, pal. I hope you have an awesome day. And Hyder, thanks so much for moderating and being the master moderator. Always appreciated. Guys, thanks so much. Watch for Uneducated Economist live streams. Also, Mike's Millennial Mike, guys, he did a video, an expose video on Reventure Consulting. It's a 4-part series. You need to watch it. If you listen to any of those crash posts at any point, if you were nervous about what any of them were saying 2 years ago, a year ago, even now, watch that video. The only thing that I wish for you guys is perspective. I want you just to have perspective. You make the decision if now's the right time to jump. You make a decision if now's the right time to start investing. I think you need to take in as much information as you can and then digest it, but make sure that you're doing it with perspective. So you guys are always great. It's always a blast hanging out with you. I hope you have a fantastic week, and I will catch you guys buying Vegas. Those videos start to hit this week. We'll probably be doing a couple a week, and I'll just share all the information that we learned in the last 2 weeks of driving around all of Vegas. But again, you will hear a major secret of why the numbers are happening the way that they are, and no one is talking about it. And I put it together just based on the fact of what we were doing and what we were driving. So you guys have an awesome week. We'll talk to you again soon. Please please subscribe. And you know what? Forward this on to somebody. Maybe it gives you something to talk to them about. Have a great week, guys. Take care.